Karen, thanks for coming in today. Appreciate you spending this time with us. We're going to talk about your breast cancer diagnosis, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
And the first question I have for you is to understand how you were originally diagnosed. So how did it come about?
Well, it was in the summer of 2010. I examined myself and I found a lump under my left breast. But at that stage, I had my bra and the wire was digging in. So I thought, oh, maybe it's the wire that's, you know, caused a lump or something like that. I did go on to the websites to think, oh, could it be breast cancer? And looking at the websites had said that, you know, if you're under 50, it's very rare, and, you know, it's probably a cyst and things like that. So I did postpone it, but then I had got a holiday booked in October, so I didn't want to go through see the doctor before I was going on holiday, so I did put it off, and I was worried on holiday about the lump as well. So when I got back, I thought, right, so I'm going to go and book an appointment. So I got back at the end of October, beginning of November, and then I had to wait. I didn't make it an urgent appointment at the doctor. I just said, oh, can I see somebody? So they gave me an appointment. I think it was in the middle of November. I got an appointment. I went to the doctor and she says, well, you know, you've got lumpy breasts, and also I was on my periods then, so it's probably nothing. But in hindsight, I knew that it wasn't that.
It wasn't right, yeah.
Yeah, I knew that. And she says, well, we can't refer you to the hospital for another 2 weeks until you have another examination. So, you know, can you come back in 2 weeks' time? So I went back in 2 weeks' time and seen another lady, and she said, no, yeah, we're going to refer you straight away. This is in the middle of December now. And she said, you know, you should hear by about the 24th of December, you know, get a letter. If you've not, give us a ring. Well, I hadn't received anything, and then it was Christmas, so then after Christmas I rang, I went in and I says, you know, I've not heard anything, and somebody had lost my notes. Either they did or the hospital did. So then it had to go in again. So I didn't get my appointment to see the Glenfield till end of January.
So all those little problems, all those little delays added up to quite a big delay.
Yes.
How long overall would you say it was from you finding the lump to actually going for an expert opinion?
4 months. 4 months, yeah.
Do you feel that that delay affected anything at the end of the day?
Yes, because on Christmas Eve, on Christmas Eve, I didn't feel well. I had a very funny turn on Christmas Eve, and I've never had a turn like that before. I felt really, I'd only had one glass of wine, I think, that was it. But I felt like something had gone through my body, like I was in shock. I couldn't stand, you know. And I feel that on that day my cancer had spread. Whether that people know, that they know when, you know, but I felt my body had gone into shock on that day.
And you were actually still waiting then?
I was still waiting, yeah.
You were still waiting to be seen. Eventually you were seen, you were referred to the regional centre in Leicester, in Glenfield Hospital.
Yes.
And what did they do next?
I went and had a mammogram first, and then I had to have a scan. And when they were scanning me, I knew that something wasn't right, wasn't normal cyst, because you know, they were saying, oh, it could be just a cyst that you've got. But the way that they said that, I thought, no, it's not. And they did a biopsy as well under my arm and on the lump. So, and then when I came out, they offered me a cup of tea, so I definitely knew that there was something mega up with me. So And then they diagnosed me, and he told me that more or less 90% it was cancer then.
He knew from what he had already observed then?
Yes.
What the diagnosis was, most likely?
Yes, he said it's most likely cancer. I'm 90% sure it's cancer. He says he's not 100% sure whether it was in the lymph nodes or not. But he said, I would have to have a lumpectomy, and then possibly chemo, but they wasn't sure about that unless it was in my lymph nodes. But when I went back, it was.
So I was just about to ask you, did you get further information based on the results of the scans and tests that then later came back?
Yes.
Did they give you more detailed information, the cancer type or staging or outlook?
When I went back, they said that it was, he said it was in my lymph nodes, and it was, it spread. He didn't tell me what grade it was or what stage it was. And then he gave me a choice of whether to have chemotherapy first or the operation first, which I said, well, which one would you have? And he recommended chemo first, because he said my lump wasn't very big, but I hadn't got a very big breast, so he wanted to do a lumpectomy to make it a nice surgery in that. So that's what I opted for.
Now, he said it had spread into the lymph nodes.
Yeah.
Was there any other spread at that time?
Well, we didn't know, so I had to have a CT scan. So no, I didn't know if it had spread. That's why they wanted me to have chemo as well to see whether.
It was unclear then.
Yes, it was.
And later, what did you find out?
Well, It wasn't until later that I went for my oncology and started chemo. Then I asked nobody. I never got a letter saying come back for your results of your scan, and I asked the oncologist, how was the scan, and they said, oh, with a matter of fact, yeah, that was fine.
There was something missing. You never got that reassurance, having had the testing, further tests, to look for more systemic or further spread away from the site. You actually never had that reassurance.
Well, I had the scan, but nobody sort of says, come back and get the results from the scan. Yes, we're happy that it's not spread any further.
And were you worried about it?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So that's what I mean. They hadn't given you the reassurance that would have alleviated the anxiety. Until you had to ask yourself.
Yeah, I had to ask to find the results, and that they because they knew that they didn't think it was necessarily probably to tell me that it was okay. But yeah, and then I started with my chemo, but I had to push for my chemo to be quick, because they kept, I wanted the lump out really, to be honest, as soon as possible. But they said, no, we'll start chemo. But I wanted chemo to start like next week. But then it was like, oh, well, you have to go and see so-and-so for a review, and, and we can't fit you in because we're fully booked and things like that. But I rang up and got in an appointment pretty early.